Good evening and welcome to Chicago Tonight. I'm Brandis Friedman.
And I'm Paris Schutz. On the show tonight, in the early hours of tomorrow morning, a total lunar eclipse will turn the moon red. Two local astronomers explain where and what to look for. There's much more ahead on the program, including how to watch the total lunar eclipse early tomorrow morning.
And now to Paris for details on how to watch tomorrow morning's lunar eclipse. Paris.
Brandis, if you have election anxiety or just generally can't sleep, gaze your eyes up at the sky. In the wee hours of tomorrow morning, a total lunar eclipse should be visible, with the moon emitting a very autumn-like orangish glow. And joining us to discuss this phenomenon and when and how Chicagoans can catch it are Geza Juke, Director of Astronomy at the Adler Planetarium, and Chicago Park District astronomer and educator Astro Joe Guzman, who conducts public astronomy sessions in city parks. Welcome, both of you, to Chicago Tonight. Geza Juke, when we stare up at the night sky around 3, 4 a.m., what are we going to see?
Well, you're going to first see that the moon is going to be a full moon, and then it's slowly going to start getting dimmer. And you might sort of see that there's a little bit of a bite out of it. And as you progress closer and closer to 4, it'll get dimmer. And then at 4 is when, or 4:16 is when it begins to enter the total eclipse phase.
So a total lunar eclipse. And Joe Guzman, tell us why it's going to emit this red autumnal hue.
Hi, Paris. Glad to be here. The Earth's atmosphere acts as a prism, blocking out and scattering the blue light rays coming from the sun. And it bends it, refracts it, and that longer red wavelength bathes the moon in a coppery crimson color. We can't determine how deep it's going to be. It all depends on forest fires, clouds, volcanic ash. But this one promises to be a really spectacular one.
And normally the moon reflects the sun's light, so it's going to be reflecting the light of sunrises across the globe. Am I correct?
Right, exactly. So as normally the light just comes unimpeded straight from the sun to the moon and then bounces off to the Earth. But in this case, because the Earth is going to be right in front of the moon, blocking the sun, blocking the direct rays, all that light that's coming from all the sunsets around the entire planet is going to be coming and bathing the moon. And so you'll see the beautiful red.
Kind of a unifying moment. Joe Guzman, how rare is this exact event?
Not as rare as you would think. There are at least twice 2 lunar eclipses a year, sometimes 4. It happens right when the moon is always full, never in partial. And then there's solar eclipses that follow it pretty soon, about a couple of weeks afterwards. So some parts of the world are going to get a partial solar eclipse.
Oh, that's interesting. But not this part of the world. In Chicago, tell us the best spot to catch this.
So the beauty of lunar eclipses is that they're something that can be seen everywhere and by everyone. And so the best spot would be someplace that has a nice view of the western horizon. So
because the moon's going to be pretty low in the night sky at this point.
Exactly. The moon's going to be fairly low towards the end of the night, and so you'll want to be able to see the horizon.
And we're kind of looking right now at a chart showing the times that you're going to see the different phases of the eclipse here. Joe Guzman, is the weather going to hold up, and is the light pollution in Chicago going to prevent us from seeing this how we might see it, say we were up in the North Woods or something like that?
Paris, how many times have we been clouded out for total lunar eclipses? So many times. But tomorrow promises to be decent for once. And we can do partly cloudy skies, and that's A-OK. City lights has no impact on watching the lunar eclipse. It's so bright, so vibrant. You can see it in downtown Chicago. It's fine. It's a naked eye event. Bring your family out. This is a rare eclipse in terms of being an election day eclipse. Never in the history of the United States has this occurred. So go out and vote if you haven't voted already. And if you have a pair of binoculars, bring them out, and they'll enhance the experience. And you got
not like a solar eclipse. You can actually look at this one with your bare eyes.
Yes, safely and securely. Bring out a telescope. It'll bring you right up close to the surface of the moon, and you can see the shadow of the Earth just slowly creeping across the face of the moon.
Geza Juke, any events in Chicago where folks are going to be collectively getting together and watch this?
Well, it's pretty early in the morning, but we are holding a virtual gathering, our Sky Observers Hangout. You can find that at the Adler's YouTube channel. And just a chance for folks to get together and talk virtually, hear a little bit more about lunar eclipses, what the best way of seeing this one. So we're going to be starting that somewhere around 3 in the morning.
And I bet you many folks at the Adler are going to wake up and join in on that virtual conversation. Joe Guzman, you were mentioning to me before we went on the air that the lunar eclipse is awesome, but that's not the only thing that viewers might see in the early morning hours. What else might we see in the sky?
At no extra charge, at 4:26 a.m., the ISS, the International Space Station, will exit the Earth's shadow, that same shadow that is now covering the moon. For 2 minutes, it will be 41 degrees high, and you can use your fist to estimate how high degrees are. And it will last, and it's so bright, it'll be minus 2.6. That's pretty bright in astronomical terms. And you'll have bright Mars practically overhead with us, and we'll see that as well. You'll have Aldebaran, a red star giant. The night sky is so chock full of stuff. How could you not love astronomy?
So you get a whole multimedia show for the price of one total blood moon eclipse, or whatever we like to call it.
Sure do, yes.
All right, well, we'll look forward to that. And if you're up, don't forget to catch that at 4 a.m. And our thanks to Geza Juke and Astro Joe Guzman. And we're back with more right after this.
Coverage of science and technology.